What is going on, everyone? Good morning and welcome to the DSP Morning Show, broadcasting live from lovely Renton, Washington. Today is Thursday. Let's try that again. Today is Thursday, the 19th of February, 2026. Had some marbles in my mouth there. And ready for a full and fun day of streaming here on the channel, and I hope that you guys are too. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show as we build up attendance for Dragon Quest VII Reimagined continuing this morning/afternoon. How is everyone? Let's see who we got. LG Power Gaming, Gas Giant, Nerexidev, Heartbreaker, Quasar, Rose Diamonds, Chris Perry, how you doing? Chris, how you doing? Let's see. Very matter-of-factly, Quarmath, Captain Cody the Kid, Cactus Jack, Eddie Chill, Large Marge, Penguin Soldier. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Bizarre pronunciations in the house. Terry Willis, The Villain, a Moose, The Don Tooth Big Tom. What's up? It is nice and cool here in Washington today. Yet again, we're actually having a week of winter, which is great because, you know, we've been in winter since December and haven't really had much or any winter weather at all. And so to actually get some winter weather is appreciated. In fact, today we might have snow, it's claiming, if the temperatures dip far enough. I'm thinking, though, it's probably going to be more into the night, into the evening, from what I can see. And then next week it's going to warm up a bit, but it's going to be raining all week, according to the weather, which would be great because as long as it's cloudy, I'm good. So as you can see, I'm nice and relaxed and nice proper attire for the season today, and I'm ready to chill with all of you here on the channel. So, how you doing? I hope you're doing well, and I'm ready for chill, relaxing fun today. And we got some topics to actually cover on today's morning show. Number one, if you didn't hear, Bluepoint Games, the company that has most notably made the Demon's Souls remake at the launch of PS5, was just closed by Sony. And when people looked into it, they actually found it really isn't the company's fault, it's Sony's, which is kind of interesting. We'll talk about that. In addition, as you know, we have been planning for an upcoming marathon, the Retrothon, on March 6th. I'm excited for this event. I'm actually going to be playing a variety of retro games all day long, which is something people have been asking for months. Like, when will you do retro content? And to finally be able to do this in a setting where everyone can come and chill and relax while I play the classics is going to be great. But since I'm going to be playing these games on the Switch 2, the issue here is that I don't have a good controller for it. The only controller that I have for Switch 2 is the Joy-Cons that it came with, and they're not very good when it comes to the D-pad. In fact, there is no D-pad. It's just a bunch of buttons. So what I'd like to ask you guys is, do you have advice on what kinds of controllers there are out there? I've seen tons of different ones on Amazon, and I'm wondering if any of you actually have one that you could recommend, because I definitely need to get one in time for this marathon in a few weeks. All right, so we'll talk about that and more. I actually had a pretty insightful comment left on videos overnight, and I want to talk with you about that comment because I think that it might actually lead to some new stuff in the future that's going to make a lot of sense. So we'll talk all about this on the morning show today. I hope that you're all doing well. Let's see here. What is this? Someone tipped $1 saying, "Happy Thursday. Was yesterday a critical and deep dive into view botting and viewer engagement metrics, or was it another experiment to manipulate the detractors? Thanks for $1. Anyway, it was called A Topic on a Podcast. Okay, thanks for $1. Appreciate it. So, that's our first contribution for today. So I hope you're all doing good, and I'm excited for today. Let's see here. So we already got another idiot here. Get rid of them too. Good. I can see that already people are active with this nonsense today, right? Okay. So, I got an interesting comment last night on a video, all right? And what I would like to do is address it because I think that actually it's pretty insightful, all right? So this week, what's been going on? If you remember, I came back on Sunday from my day off, Valentine's Day, and we did a day of Hollow Knight and RimWorld. Went great, right? Now, admittedly, when I play both Hollow Knight and RimWorld, I don't get a ton of viewers. With Hollow Knight, we roughly get around 200 on YouTube and maybe like, I don't know, 80 on Kick. When I play RimWorld, it's even less. Like, usually we have less than 200 on YouTube and probably, again, like maybe like 70, 80 on Kick. So not even bringing in 300 viewers, you'd say, oh, those aren't very popular streams. But here's the truth about Hollow Knight and RimWorld. These are games that have dedicated fan bases. These are games that, for years, people kind of said, gee, I hope Phil one day will, branch out from only covering the mainstream stuff that he usually does, and maybe one day he'll play smaller games, lesser-known games, etc., right? Not to say that they're lesser known in regards to, like, no one knows what they are, but they definitely don't have that AAA appeal. They don't get the mainstream coverage. People aren't promoting them. There's not ginormous budgets saying, hey, buy this game. You know what I'm saying? But in their own right, both the Hollow Knight franchise and RimWorld have huge fan bases. I mean, RimWorld's been around over 12 years, and I didn't even know about it until last year because people finally brought it up and started asking me to check it out, right? So, in regards to these games, the thing that happens is I just don't get a lot of attendance on the streams. But what happens is I get a lot of engagement, meaning the people that are there and like the games interact with me a ton, right? And that's a good thing. They're giving me advice. They're letting me know about secrets and things that I normally wouldn't have found. They're helping me to understand the big complexities of said games, like with RimWorld. If you guys hadn't helped me to understand RimWorld, right, I never would have been able to get as far as I've gotten here. I certainly wouldn't have 6 survivors surviving and almost up to 8 in my group now. I never would have done half the stuff because you guys are guiding me through to understand this very, very deep, complex game. I've described it like an onion, where on the outside, it just looks like it's a basic thing, but as you start to peel back the layers, you realize, oh my God, there's another layer and another layer. There's so much to this game, and you wouldn't expect that from a game that, quite frankly, looks like RimWorld does, and a game that really, again, doesn't have a budget when it comes to like AAA, support. It just doesn't. It was a small-time game when it came out over a decade ago, right? So, in regards to both of these games, all right, I really like the streams, to be honest. Now, going hand in hand with the fact that these get tons of engagement when I play them, they also get a lot of support. These games have been staples of my schedule for about a month now and are doing really well. On some weeks when I'm taking chances playing a new indie game here or there, and I don't know if they're going to perform well, these games have actually been kind of the rock on which my content is based, because I know when I go back to them, I'm going to get that engagement and support, and it's going to help out if a week is maybe not performing as well as I'd hoped. So that was Sunday. Okay? Then on Monday, I played Dragon Quest VII. And once again, admittedly, I wish I could get more of a viewer base and a fan base and a following for JRPGs because I love them. I don't think it's ever going to happen at this point. I mean, I've tried my hardest to convince people to come by and hang out when I play them. I've tried to show you that I can make these streams interactive and fun even if you don't like the game, and it doesn't really work. To be honest, usually whenever I play a JRPG, we get lower attendance, lower engagement, and lower support. Dragon Quest VII, I feel like, sadly, will be this way the whole way, although I hope not. Like, today, I would hope things would turn around. Maybe we'll get some more people to hang out and support Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. That would be great, just saying. But, it's a hope, not a realistic goal, I guess, because I just don't know how I can control that. If people have this bias towards JRPGs on my channel, I can't really get you out of that bias. It's a preconceived notion, and people just are programmed to think these games are boring when I don't feel that they are. So, it was Dragon Quest, and then it was Hellmart on the late stream, which we beat within like 20 minutes, which I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to be at least an hour or more, and then it ended up being way shorter than expected. So we just kind of hung out for the rest of the night, but a lot of people were disappointed. They wanted more horror, and there wasn't time to start another game, so Monday night stream didn't do so well. Then we had Tuesday, all right, where the daytime stream, was my coverage of the Virtual Boy. And to be honest, I think that stream would have done a lot better if I actually could play the Virtual Boy on camera for you, except as we know, Nintendo has blocked that ability. So I flubbed it and did a bootleg thing. I think a lot of people enjoyed it, but it didn't become a well-supported stream. And then on Tuesday night, it was Street Fighter 6. And for the first time since I brought back Street Fighter 6 over a month ago, the stream did not do great. It did good, but it didn't do great. So basically, we had one day where I played games that don't necessarily bring in the views, but bring in engagement and support, and it was a very successful day. And then I had 2 days where things weren't bad, but things definitely slowed down a bit. And, I talked about this in my content, and you guys know that. I talk about this all the time, whether it's on the podcast, whether it's on the Daily Wrap, or whatever it is, that these are the observations I'm making. So someone left a very insightful comment overnight on one of my videos. I forget which one it was. It might have been the Daily Wrap, okay? And the comment was, the reason that you're finding success, despite the fact that you're not bringing in the views, is because you're now trying to play games that actually have dedicated, established fan bases, despite the fact that the games aren't necessarily big AAA. And the person made an interesting point. They said, if you had done this years ago, you likely would have been better off than where you are now. A lot of creators have found success honing in on these games that have these really dedicated viral fan bases. What do they call it? Like cult fan bases? There you go. That's the real word to describe it properly. And they even brought up a couple games. They said, for example, you played games like Final Fantasy 16 and Starfield. And when you did, I just couldn't stop shaking my head. Like, why is Phil wasting his time playing these inferior games simply because they are considered AAA new releases? Like, my time would be better spent playing games that people absolutely want to see me play long term because there are cult followers of these games, and it's actually giving them a lot of satisfaction and pleasure to see me, someone who isn't used to these kinds of franchises, learning, adapting, and actually becoming immersed in these game worlds. And I started to think about what they said, and I was thinking to myself, this kind of goes along with my philosophy this year that I definitely want to try more games. A lot of them are going to be smaller scale indie games, all right? And I think that the way of the future is to actually find the hidden gems rather than the big shiny thing that's presented to you as the best that in reality probably isn't. We're talking about the Call of Duties. We're talking about the Assassin's Creeds, the games that they're going to come out either every year or every few years, and you can't really trust that they're going to be good anymore because these companies have just become money printing machines, or at least that's what they're attempting to do, is just get your money rather than present you with an artistic, meaningful product that then you will reward with money. You see, so many companies today are now, let's make a game as a product to be sold and make money, or let's have a game released as a games as a service deal so people will keep giving us a revenue stream, and then after the fact make sure it's fun or whatever. Like, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to create a game that's meaningful to the gamer, that is culturally relevant, that's something that resonates, that they want to play long term. And then once you've hooked that gamer, then they will reward you with sales, with games as a service support, with word of mouth to tell others to play said game. And I feel like a game like RimWorld, that's exactly what happened. Because I can't imagine that 12 years ago when RimWorld came out, looking like that and being a small budget game, that it blew down doors. Everyone was like, oh my God. It was probably a game that word of mouth spread when people realized how complex this game actually was and how much was in it and how unique it really was of an experience with the way that the characters are uniquely generated. And they all have their own different traits, and you can have different stories and things happening, and there's that, I like that idea, and I didn't really understand anything about that game when I started playing it. And now that we played it for a month, I'm like, wow, it really is an exciting experience every time I play it, because you never know what's going to happen. Something zany is going to happen or something unexpected. There's always a new challenge. There's always something new to overcome, but there's always something new to research or add and adopt to my gameplay style that makes the game more interesting. There hasn't been a single stream of RimWorld that's been boring, right? So it makes sense that it has such a fan base. But how would you know that, right? And so I thought of this person's comment, and I'm like, yeah, I think what I need to do moving forward, all right, is, yes, I'm going to cover the games that are big AAA releases that everyone's going to ask me for. So, for example, of course I'm playing Resident Evil Requiem. Why wouldn't I play Resident Evil Requiem? That's a franchise. I've played every single installment of it that's been made available to me, both as a YouTuber and before I was a YouTuber. It's historic because it was really the genre that kicked survival horror into the mainstream, and everyone wants to know, is the game good? What's the plot? What do you think? How do you do at it? Etc., right? Why wouldn't I play Resident Evil 9? I'd be a moron. At the same time, I don't think that I need to feel pressure that every big release that comes out, I have to play it. Notably, Neo 3. If you want to know the truth, I'm very happy I've skipped it. Really. Because I feel like it would have just been more industry schlock where I'm playing a game just for the sake of playing it. Does it really have meaning? Does the story matter? No. Is the gameplay really revolutionary or anything to write home about? No. But everyone's playing it right now because there's nothing else AAA out. That's why they're playing it. It's the only reason they're playing it. If another game that was more notable was out, no one would even care about Neo 3, and they say, oh, don't play it. Skip it. You see? So I'm very happy that I basically am skipping certain games, but I will play others. But what I think I really should do is I should start searching in all these indie games that are coming out for the hidden gems, the ones that look good or interesting that people are going to want to see, but also listening to you and your feedback of suggestions that you give me. Now, not every single one of them is going to work. For example, for years, people said, play Mount & Blade Bannerlord. So finally, I played Mount & Blade Bannerlord 2 during my marathon. And to be honest, I didn't dislike the game at all. I just think for a slow-paced medieval combat game that also has a simulation aspect to it, I really don't know if it would work for my audience in these streams. But at least we tried it. Because for every Mount & Blade Bannerlord, there's going to be a RimWorld that absolutely has worked. Right? So, I am excited for the future. Seriously, I am excited for the future. Reason being, my horizons have broadened. I'm not just looking at this narrow path forward at what's mainstream and what's everyone asking for because it's AAA and advertised. Instead, now I'm getting this wider appeal of people saying, hey, what about this game that people like that you probably never heard of? What about this game that has a cult fan base but you never would have touched? And I want to try those games. And the thing is, there's not going to be an overabundance of them, but I think that list will grow over time. Okay? And I do think that's what I need to do is start listening to the audience better for the kind of games that you guys maybe have wanted to see me play and I've avoided, to at least give them a shot. I'm open to that now, you know? And I think that's... just think of it this way. If I didn't have Hollow Knight and RimWorld in my rotation right now, I would probably have no dependable games in the rotation of any expectation of who's going to show up, engage, and support them. And I actually wouldn't know how to go about things right now. I'd probably be like, oh no, I don't know what to do. You know, help me. But we're not. It's the opposite. Things are actually going quite good right now. So, obviously, I'm very happy for that. And I want to say thank you to those of you who have suggested these games, these maybe lesser known, not AAA budget style games, but you wanted to see me play them. Thank you for that. Thank you for not giving up, because a lot of people championed both Hollow Knight and RimWorld for a long time. And because you did, I finally got around to them. And now, as you can see, the success is apparent that these games are working well in my schedule and the playthroughs do well and we have that engagement. Again, I'm not getting giant attendance, but it doesn't matter. You don't always need to get giant attendance. It's not about numbers on a stream. That's what I'm trying to relay to Wings. And I don't think Wings gets it to him. It's just numbers. Like, as long as he can get the numbers. I'm like, that's not what it's about. Dude, you could have a stream with 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 people and none of them care about you. What you want is a stream of people where every person there is engaged with the content you're making, because those are the people that are going to come back and they're going to want to see you continue and they're going to support those streams. That's what I'm trying to relay to him. I think because the kind of game he plays has always been the AAA, right? Think about it. He's playing Battlefield 6, Call of Duty, and then what's the other game he plays to fill in the gaps? Dark Souls or Baldur's Gate 3. They're all giant games. All of them. And it's not about that. It's about having an audience that just enjoys what you're doing, not about pumping out the numbers because someone wanted to see you play the big game, you see? And again, not to say that that's not a part of the equation of success. It is. I'm very excited for next week. Just a little over a week now, we've got the release of Resident Evil 9. And I'm absolutely playing it, and I'm stoked for it. And I know it's going to end up being a great experience with all of you. You know, every Resident Evil game that comes out, we've had a great time. But it's not just about that, right? So, thank you for that. And that comment, thank you to the person who left that comment. Thank you to those who've been around these last, month and a half that I've been doing things differently, right? In 2026, I said, we're definitely going to approach things differently. Let's see how it goes. And I think it's going well. In fact, just so you know, tonight we're trying Deadlock, the new game from Valve that's in playtest. You guys liked seeing me play it during the marathon. So we're going to give it a night stream and just see if it works. If you guys come by and engage and support it, I'll consider playing it more. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's an experiment, right? We'll see. Tomorrow, we're going to play Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This is not a huge budget game. It's actually a small-scale side-scrolling beat-em-up that's an homage to classic games like the Ninja Turtles arcade game, Streets of Rage, and stuff like that. But it stars the Marvel cast of X-Men and Avengers and characters like that. Apparently, it's around roughly 3 hours long for one playthrough, and I've already played about a half an hour of it during the marathon, so we'll just pick up where we left off, trying different characters, trying to do optional challenges and things. I think it's going to be a nice chill time. And then next week, we're actually going to be doing a fun stream on Monday night, I think it is. We're going to do another Indies night, where we're going to probably play maybe 2 to 3 indie games on the fly that you guys have suggested. Some of them are already in my wish list on Steam, and we may go back, like someone has suggested maybe going back and resuming a game we played before. We could do that. Let's see what people want on Monday night, right? So that's excellent, and I'm excited for that, and I hope that you guys will join me for this variety of fun moving forward this year. It will not just be DSP constantly plays AAAs, and that's it, because I understand how boring that can be, and I also get that there are games that aren't huge, don't have giant budgets and big advertising behind them, but they are very worthy games of my time, and we should give them, a few streams at least to try them out and see if people like them. I'm okay with that. All right? So thank you for that. I just wanted to open with that today because it was a very insightful comment, and I was actually quite happy that someone had given me that advice. I agree. Let's look for the games that have those cult followings so we can get people to come and hang out with me and enjoy seeing me experience what they've loved for so long, because I think that's going to get me more attention and success with a smaller group, but a dedicated group that likes what I'm doing, as opposed to just getting eyes on it because it's a big game, but these aren't necessarily people that are going to stick around, right? That's the thing with one of these big AAA releases. Typically, the first to 2 streams will do well, and then after that, there's a sharp fall off. Every single one, right? That's how it works. So, there you go. Okay, shout out to Revy G, who has gifted a sub. Thank you, Revy G, for our first contribution over on the Kick side today. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Revy. So, a good time to mention before we start talking about our other topics today. Hold on. Let's read some comments. I should have read some comments before I started to move on. Let's see here. Can we get some Sonic in the retro rotation? Well, the thing is, Quasar, I've played all the Sonics. I played all of the retro Sonics already. So for what's available on the Nintendo Switch Online platform, there's really nothing else to play. I mean, if you want me to play Sonic for a half an hour, I'm okay with that, but I don't think it's really going to be significant because I've already done them all, right? So typical average gamer says, are you playing Marathon or Resident Evil first? They come out the same day? No, they don't. Marathon is coming out with a beta on February 26th, okay? Resident Evil 9 comes out February 27th. So I will do a stream of the Marathon beta on the 26th, and I'm playing Resident Evil all day on the 27th. The way I'll probably split it up is the daytime stream will be Marathon, and the night stream will be Street Fighter 6, and then the next day, that Friday, will be Resident Evil 7 all day. Okay. Can I check out Windrose? A PvE Pirates game. Never heard of it. Let me take a quick look at it. Why not? Windrose? Here it is. The demo just released? Yes, it did. It literally just released like a day or two ago. I will add this to my wish list, and we'll take a look at it Monday night, perhaps. Thank you for that suggestion. Let's see here. I'm going to try Marathon. I'm not committing to buying it and playing it, but I want to try it. I mean, I played Arc Raiders, and didn't know what to expect. I'd avoided it for like 2 months, and when I finally played it, I got addicted, and I liked it. Now, of course, it wore out after a couple months, but it was a fun game. I now understand what the extraction shooter genre is about, so when I play Marathon, I'll have that frame of reference. I want to give it a shot, at least for the beta. I'm not saying that I'm going to actually play the final game when it comes out in March. We'll see. We'll decide that together, okay? You're right, CHMF. I don't play MOBAs. I know of MOBAs. I know exactly what they are. In fact, I remember the original one was a mod for Warcraft 3. I can't remember what it was called. It had a really catchy name, and everyone used to play it back in the day. It was a mod for Warcraft 3 that basically turned Warcraft 3 from a game where you just had a squad of soldiers and workers that were trying to survive and build a base, and turned it into a game where it was one hero who was your focused hero, and then everyone worked around them, and there was combat and everything. Was it Dota? Oh, well, there you go. I didn't even know. That's what it was called. Defense of the Ancients. There you go. So I'm well aware of what that is. I did dabble a tiny bit with it in the 2000s. I never really got into it because I was a Street Fighter player. But I knew about it. Everyone knew about it. It was very popular. And then I know that League of Legends came out, and that kind of took over the mantle and became the prominent one and stuff like that. So I know the formula. I just don't know how the formula applies to Deadlock. Like when I played it, I was trying to figure it out on the fly, and it was very slow going. I think I'll do the demo tonight. To at least, not the demo, the tutorial tonight, to at least learn the basics of the game before I jump into another game online that, you know, I don't want to throw the game for my team. But it's probably what I'll do. We'll do the demo. I keep saying demo. I'll do the tutorial and then start playing it online and see how it goes, okay? Dual Sensible is saying there's a Star Trek Voyager game coming out either this week or next week. It's a RimWorld-esque type of game. Oh, yeah? Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown. It apparently is out. It apparently came out yesterday. Yeah. You know what it looks like? It looks like a combination of Fallout Shelter with also space exploration. So Fallout Shelter, you were just basically in a vault trying to keep your vault members alive, and you would send them out to gather resources or to fight other people and try to get resources from them, and then you'd have vault management. This looks like it's exactly the same thing on the ship, the Voyager, but also it looks like there's going to be combat and exploration, like moving your ship around space and stuff. That's what it looks like to me. Sadly, it doesn't have a demo, does it? If it had a demo, I totally would have been down to jump into it. But all it has is the main game, which is $31. Again, not that I can't get that, but I'm curious how many people would be down for that. I added it to wish list. We'll take a look at it on Monday. Again, when we do their indie nights. We might do like 2 indie nights this week, actually, coming up. We'll have to see. Because I think we're going to do one Monday. We might do one Monday, and we might just do another one Wednesday, because I'm trying to think. Or maybe we could do 2 nights in a row. We could do that, too. Because we could do Sunday Night RimWorld, Monday, Tuesday, Indies, Wednesday, RimWorld, Thursday, Street Fighter 6, and Friday, Resident Evil. Yeah, we could do that, actually. All right. That might be what we end up doing, actually. Then again, we might have an extra daytime stream this week, too. I'm not sure. It's going to be a weird week because we got Resident Evil at the end. And also, I want to try Marathon, you see? Real Irish just did a $2 super chat and said a nonsensical message I would never read. But thanks for the $2, Real Irish. 2 rupees. Thanks for the 2 rupees, actually. Appreciate that. I received a $4.20 tip. Let's play the animation first. And then we'll see what this person has to say. Let's get the unique animation. Yama, yama. Thank you, Mom. Okay, so, $4.20 tip. Catching up on the Dragon Quest playthrough. This is one of my favorite Dragon Quest games. I hope you enjoy the series. I also really love Dragon Quest 8 and 11. Do you have a favorite? Maribel is my favorite character in the game. This game. I have only played Dragon Quest. Whatever Dragon Quests were remade for the Game Boy Advance, I played all those. And I think there's 3 of them. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I think there's 3 of them. I played those. And then I played Dragon Quest 1 on NES, which actually back in the day was called Dragon Warrior. So I've played some of that. I don't think I ever finished it, but I played some of it. And then I played Dragon Quest 11. Of all the Dragon Quest games I've played, I think I've enjoyed every single one. I like the Toriyama art style. I like the turn-based combat. I like that they all have, like, they start straightforward. Like, oh, it's medieval, right? And there's magic and there's knights and dragons. But then all of a sudden, they'll throw a curveball. Like in this game, there's time travel. You're going back in time to these islands, you know, doing these plots and then coming back to modern day to see what you did in the past, how it affected the island. That's cool. In another Dragon Quest I played, there were these interdimensional gates that were going on. That was fun. And then remember in 11, there's the whole aspect of all kinds of mystical stuff going on. There's actually 2 plots at once, right? So that's what I like about Dragon Quest. There's always something extra on top of just this standard medieval kind of, you know, almost fantasy-esque storyline. So, I love it. I absolutely love these games. I'm glad that you're enjoying the playthrough. And thanks for stopping by. And thank you so much for supporting Dragon Quest. Because right now, as I said, sadly, this playthrough is the least attended that I've been doing. And it has not done horribly for support. I want to make this abundantly clear. Dragon Quest VII has not done horribly at all. In fact, it's doing quite good compared to other JRPGs. Like when I was trying to play Suikoden 2, this is doing better than that. So I want you to know that. It's just that it hasn't gotten the level of success as, say, Hollow Knight, RimWorld, and even Street Fighter 6 has been doing lately. And that's sad. I want it to, because I love JRPGs. I wish that I could play them more often, but it's hard. It's very hard to get people to commit to come by for JRPGs because they claim that they're boring. I don't think they are. Okay. All right, well, Suffering From just did a $4.20 tip and says, I had surgery yesterday, and the thing that keeps me strong is looking forward to watching your streams. Well, thank you. Thank you to Suffering From for another $4.20 tip. I appreciate that. Sadly, the anonymous tipper did do it for you, so the anonymous tipper actually stays on the leaderboard. If you had beaten the anonymous tipper, you would have gotten on the leaderboard for your tip, but you did not. So, all right, thank you guys for that. All right, so now what I was going to say was, if you're here and you're enjoying the chill vibes of the morning show and you're having a good time, there's several ways that you can support myself and my content. Number one would be, if you're on YouTube, you can like the stream. By liking my stream, you can give this channel engagement, which helps this channel to be found in the YouTube algorithm, to be recommended to others, and to find my content. It's very hard to find my content because of the amount of clippers and restreamers and people who steal the content. So if you could like the stream, that would help me a ton. Please do. And by the way, it's free and easy to do, so there's no excuse not to. Let's get this stream up to 100 likes during the morning show. We have 242 viewers. We can get this to 100 likes. Let's go. Now, if you want to go above and beyond and you want to support the stream, you can. How? Well, if you're on the YouTube side, you can become a member of the channel, which will give you access to a whole ton of emotes and get you a cool Channel Crown badge to show how long that you've been a supporter. You can give some memberships to your fellow viewer, or you can do a super chat. If you're on the Kick side, you can throw some kicks my way, or you can become a paid subscriber over there, which again will get you access to a whole bunch of emotes and a crown in the chat. Or you can give some subs to your fellow viewer. Or if you don't want to be involved with any of the sides of the services, and I don't want to pay any money to YouTube or Kick, you could just tip me via PayPal. There is a link in the description of the stream, or you could type !tip in the chat right now. You'll see the link to do so. If you're watching this stream on demand as a video on YouTube, you can do a super thanks on the video after the fact. Or again, you can check the description of this video. It'll have that tips link as well, and you can support that way. So let's go. Let's get some support for the DSP Morning Show, and let's get support for Dragon Quest and classic RPGs. I want to keep playing Dragon Quest and keep it in the rotation. So let's get support for classic stuff right now, early and often. Let's go. In fact, where are we at? I haven't even looked yet. Oh, by the way, did you see what I just did? Take a look at the leaderboard at the top of the screen. This is something that I'm going to be doing moving forward. And you might say, what did Phil just do? I just added the date to the leaderboard. It now says February 19th, 2026 stats, and then it shows the leaderboard moving, okay? Why did I add that? Because guess what? I got a comment. I was shocked about this, okay? I got a comment on a video overnight, and here's what someone said. Phil, I'll be honest with you. I thought you didn't make content anymore. I thought that you would actually stop, and that all that was going on was that people were constantly still clipping you and making fun of you and doing this detractor style stuff. The reason that I thought that is because I can't find your channel. Like, I didn't know that you actively are making content. So I thought these were people who were just beating the dead horse. I didn't know that you were streaming every day and making this content. The problem is when people do these clips of you, they steal your content and they don't say, oh, it's from DSP Gaming, it's from this date or anything like that. So could you add the date that you're streaming to your moving leaderboard that you already have? Because if you do, now you're dated. We know what day you put out that stream or that video. So by seeing this, you know this is the morning show from February 19th, 2026. And, you know, now, oh, wait, that actively was made that day? Oh, cool. Now I know to go check out Phil because he's making content, you see? So, that's awesome. And by the way, Dr. Magical Man says, I searched DSP Gaming, you're the first result. Wrong. The reason that is because the YouTube algorithm, when you search, is based off of your view history. So if you're literally sitting here right now watching my stream already, and you search DSP Gaming, I will be the first channel that pops up. But if you're someone who doesn't regularly watch and doesn't come to the channel and doesn't even know the channel, if you search DSP Gaming, you will get all the restreams and detractor content first. As shown when Asmongold did exactly that during our interview. He literally did it, and boom, that's exactly what happened to him. He couldn't find the channel. He was like, wait, Snort Hogan isn't you? No, that's not me. You see? So, there you go. So I'm going to have the date, all right, in the leaderboard from now on, so at least people know that's the day that I'm broadcasting, okay? I think it makes sense. It doesn't really affect anything because the leaderboard's already there, so I think it's fine. I don't think it's going to be, you know, any kind of an issue having the date on there, okay? Cool. All right. All right, so good stuff, and let's continue. I have two more topics to discuss today. All right, the first is Bluepoint Games, and this one is messed up. So for those who don't know, Bluepoint Games is a company that existed for a long time. In fact, if I look up the Bluepoint Games, let me see here. Here we go. Which games did Bluepoint Games develop? Okay, here it is. So Bluepoint Games has been making games for a very long time. And what they normally do is they take existing games and they either port them or upgrade them for a new audience. For example, the game that most of you probably recognize Bluepoint Games from is the Demon's Souls remake, which they remade as a launch title for the PlayStation 5 back in 2020. Okay, that's the one that most people know them for. What you might not realize is that they have done a ton of remakes. For example, they redid Shadow of the Colossus for PlayStation 4 in 2018, and that was a porting of the PS2 game to a PS4 game with brand new graphics and gameplay. The Uncharted Nathan Drake collection from back in 2015 was Bluepoint Games. Gravity Rush Remastered in 2016. How about this one? The Metal Gear Solid HD collection, which I played in 2012. That's right, the game that actually was the origins of This Is How You Don't Play. That was Bluepoint Games, okay? They also made the Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collection in 2011, and that's the version of Shadow of the Colossus that I originally played back in the day. They also made God of War collection in 2009, which remastered God of War 1 and 2. Geez, I mean, keep going back. They made Flower and ported it to the PlayStation 4 and the Vita. They actually ported PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale to the Vita. They ported Titanfall to the Xbox 360. And they actually had a debut title called Blast Factor in 2006. Now, if you're not aware, just listen to this. After Bluepoint Games released Demon's Souls Remake in 2020, Sony was so pleased with their work, they bought the studio. They bought them outright. And Bluepoint thought, oh my God, this is great. We made it big time. We've been doing these ports and these upgrades and these collections for years and years. But now that we're actually owned by Sony, Now we're going to make it to the big time. We're actually going to start working on bigger games, and hopefully, you know, we're going to grow. And here's what happened. This is not a joke or an exaggeration. Sony said to Bluepoint, okay, stop making remakes right now. We want you to make a God of War live service game. You know, like what happened with BioWare when their owner, who was it, EA, told them, hey, stop making single-player RPGs and make a live service online cooperative shooter instead. And BioWare said, what? Why would we do that? That's not what we do. That's not our forte. We're not good at it. We have no experience in it. Why would you want us to do that? And EA said, don't question, just do what we tell you. And as BioWare was developing this game, they kept telling EA, you know, it's kind of like Destiny in a way, and it's kind of samey to other games because that's the genre, and you're telling us to trend chase if we don't like this. To which EA said, shut up and still make the game. We don't care. And then what happened is it came out, and it flopped miserably, and now you can't even play Anthem. That's the game that BioWare pumped out. Anthem, it doesn't even exist anymore. They shut down the server. It's dead. Okay? So, there was a track record of this already happening, of a major company kind of acquiring a studio and then telling the studio, don't do what you're good at, do what we tell you because we think this will trend chase and make money. And the studio were like, I don't know about this. And they said, too bad, do what we tell you because we own you now. So that's exactly what Bluepoint did. For about 4 years, they were developing a God of War live service game, which never saw the light of day because, lo and behold, what a shocking twist. The game sucked. It wasn't going to work. So Sony canceled it. So then for the last year, Bluepoint has been scrambling, pitching ideas of games that they could make for Sony, HD collections, upgrades to previous Sony properties. And Sony said, okay, thanks for all your feedback. We'll get back to you to tell you what to make. And now they closed the studio this morning. So Bluepoint Games, who was fine making games on their own, doing these upgrades and HD ports and all this stuff and doing great work, was bought by Sony, forced to make a game they didn't want to make and didn't know how to make, canceled the game, and then laid everybody off. Thanks, Sony. Wow, you're really doing a good job for the industry, Sony. Really. I mean, you're really just, you know, helping improve the gameplay landscape. You destroyed a company for no reason because you're idiots. So it's hilarious because it was Herman Hulst, right? This fucker who's in charge of Sony Gaming who made the announcement this morning, and he goes, oh, don't worry. We're confident that we're in control of the future and we know what's best and that gaming is going to... Shut the fuck up, Herman Hulst, you piece of shit. Seriously. Saying shit like that is so underhanded. So it's like dirty. You read his announcement that he's laying all these people off. It's about 70 employees. And you read it and you're like, what a disgusting, filthy person. That he buys a company, forces the company to do things that they're not good at, and then lays them all off. You're a scumbag. They were fine. They were literally doing fucking fine until you ruined them. You should be the one suffering, not them. You, Herman Hulst, should be the one out there unemployed on the street, not the 70 employees of Bluepoint Games that have a track record of success, and you fucked it up. The games industry is ass fucking backwards. These people in charge don't know what they're doing, constantly run things off a cliff into the fucking ocean, but then the people who made the bad decisions are fine and succeed and get paid and get bonuses and get promotions, and the people who are working their asses off and are told to do the wrong thing and don't want to do it and they're forced to do it, they lose their jobs. What kind of a backwards fucking way is it to run a company? If you're a Sony stockholder right now, you should be demanding that Herman Hulst be fired. I'm serious. That should be like number one that you should be championing. You ruined the company. You wasted the company's money buying them. You did nothing with them. And now you've laid them off. No, you're the problem, Mr. Hulst. Not Bluepoint. You. Because you're an idiot. And we don't want you in charge. Fuck you and get out. That's exactly what should be happening. But here's the truth. When Sony cuts the fat, which is what they call these kind of things in corporate America, when Sony cuts the fat of getting this company out of there that's not currently making them profits. What that does is that increases the bottom line, and the common shareholder, actually, their value will likely go up, and they'll probably receive more dividends as a result of cutting the fat. Therefore, they think, oh, Herman Hulst is a good guy. Herman Hulst knows what he's doing. He really made a good choice for us because now we made more money. Well, that's not what it's about, you fucking idiots. It's a short-term game, but long-term, you've shot yourself in the foot. You ruined a company that was a great game dev company that could have made you millions and millions and millions because of bad leadership, and you're remaining that bad leadership, or you're keeping that bad leadership in that spot. It's like there's cancer, and you didn't cut the cancer out. So it's going to come back. It's going to fuck you and kill you. You have to cut out the people that are ruining the company, not leave them there because today they tossed you a few dollars to distract you from the fact that they're awful leaders, because that's exactly what this is. I'm a bad at my job, but I made the shareholders a couple extra bucks, so they're going to keep me in power, even though I'm obviously bad at my job. It pisses me off to hear people in the industry losing their jobs like this. It's not their fault at all. This is not a case that they literally did something bad or wrong. It was Sony's fault, 100%. I wish more people would realize it and things would change, but that's how everything is run right now. That all these companies are, the people in charge of these fucking scum suckers who just fuck everything up. And then no one holds them accountable. Why is Herman Hulst not accountable for this? Anyway, that's that story. It sucks. I hate reporting stories like that. They piss me off. If you can't tell, my blood pressure's up. I'm angry. I don't want 70 people to lose their jobs because of some fucking rich bitch who thinks he knows how to run a company and doesn't, making horrible decisions and fucking them all over. Okay. So continuing on, the other topic of today that I want to talk about is I am looking for a controller. Now, maybe you know what? Because it's already 12:13 and this is the DSP morning show and not the podcast. I think maybe we should talk about this tomorrow on the podcast. So here's what we will do. Tomorrow on the Level 1 podcast, I would like to look for a new controller that I can get for the March 6th Retro Marathon or Retrothon here on the channel, okay? So we will talk about this tomorrow. Some people are saying 8-bit dough. Is it 8-bit do or 8-bit dough? I don't know how to pronounce it. I need to know how to pronounce this so I can figure this out, okay? But I need to have a controller that will work with Switch 2, a classic controller, so that I can actually play these games for the marathon, or else it's going to be horrible. 8-bit dough. It's like dough, D-O-U-G-H. Okay. Rude Fossa Gaming says, I have an 8-bit dough Ultimate Bluetooth, and he loves it. All right, let's look at this tomorrow. Like I said, right now, I'm not even kidding you. I just did that story. I got a promotional email from Sony. There's still time to save up to 75% off on these games. Fuck you. Okay. But, yes, tomorrow, please make these suggestions. We'll look them up. We'll see the pricing. And I might even buy a controller live tomorrow on the podcast because I need to get something in time for the marathon coming up. Okay? Cool. All right. What would you guys like to talk about on today's morning show? What's on your minds, everybody? By the way, Real Irish did another $2 super chat and talked about a detractor meme. Thanks. I'm not reading that, but thanks for $2. Could you send me some more? That'd be nice. If you could do more detractor memes with money attached to them, that's excellent. I can't unsub or block the Sony email, reason being that Sony email address is also what sends you invites to betas. So, for example, if I want to get into a beta coming up, they need to send me the invite via there, so I can't block it. It sucks, because I don't like that shit, but I have to leave it open or else I can't get into stuff. Very lame. What is my favorite JRPG? I like the classics from the SNES era. So games like Final Fantasy 4 or 6 or Chrono Trigger or Earthbound. Those are my favorites of all time, like that era. Probably favorite Final Fantasy would be 6. But I love Chrono Trigger, so it's hard for me to determine between those two. I'd say those two are probably my favorite JRPGs, Final Fantasy 6 and Chrono Trigger. Darmilk says, I would pay so much money if you played League of Legends. I mean, I have no idea how to play it. It would probably be an atrocious, failure. I'm not against playing it, though. If you really wanted me to play it, I would give it a shot. I'd give anything a shot. I'm probably not going to do well. Is the sweater itchy? Not at all. This is a super comfortable, what do they call this, a quarter zip? Yeah, it's super comfortable, and it's very nice. I like how it looks. This is a new one that I actually got only like a couple months ago, and I've only worn it once before, so I was happy that finally the temperatures cooled down again and I could wear it again. I never played Phantasy Star. No, I did not, because I was an SNES guy, so I played all the SNES RPGs for the most part. Phantasy Star was Genesis, and I didn't play it. I got Genesis, but it was very late into its life cycle when I got it. I'm aware of Legend of Dragoon. I'm aware of it. I've never played it, but I'm aware of it. I've heard of it. Yeah, PS1 era, exactly. Yeah, there you go. CHMF says, I can't believe they had guys who could remaster Bloodborne, and they fumbled it hard. Bloodborne was the single reason I bought a PS4, and a remaster would have been a reason to buy a PS5. You're right. And you know they could have done it. Abso-freaking-lutely, you know that they could have redone Bloodborne. Yeah, my Kick chat just crashed. Is Kick working still? Gateway timeout. The Cloudflare servers have died, and Kick.com is now reporting a host error. Ouch. So apparently Kick.com's Cloudflare server host is down. Yeah. I don't know if anyone can even see me on Kick right now, because I cannot load the chat. Let me even see. Is the Kick page even working? I don't think so. Yikes. I'm going to keep the Kick stream on, but I have no idea if it's going to work or not. It could be effed up. Yeah, Kick chat has not moved in 2 minutes, because I actually have the Kick chat open. Yeah, it looks like Kick servers died. Well, actually, it's not Kick server, but the Cloudflare server died. Yeah, it's not working. So right now, I'm basically only streaming for the YouTube audience. The Kick side has died. I know. Isn't it weird how so much relies on Cloudflare servers? And when they do have this issue, a ton of businesses just go down entirely. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, the chat is completely frozen. I think the stream is frozen over there too. But I'm not going to stop broadcasting. Like, I'm just going to wait it out. Yeah, all the Kick must be down because it's a Cloudflare error I'm getting back, and it won't load the page. See how it's white? You can see how bright I am right now? It's just giving me white pages when I try to load it. When the robots take over, they're going to take out Cloudflare first. There you go. What's up, Satan? How are you this morning? Good to see you. I'm glad to have you all on the YouTube side, and it's still working there. So I guess YouTube doesn't use Cloudflare. They must use some other server or service. Yeah, if I keep reloading, it'll load the chat, but then the chat crashes and doesn't move. It just sits here frozen. So I can't even click on a name in chat. It just doesn't even open. It's so messed up. So, all right, I'll have to try to refresh again in a few minutes, I guess, and see if it actually works or not. I wonder if what's working and what's not right now. Like, I wonder if half the shit I'm looking at, like my emails don't work. I wonder, because how much you want to bet? A ton of shit's on Cloudflare. So, yeah. Well, if you are able to still watch me on Kick, I'm not going to stop broadcasting, but I can't control it. This is a server issue online. And if you want to chat, you could always come over to the YouTube side of stuff. But, you know, a lot of people prefer one over the other. Snake Sauce somehow just redeemed moral support. And that worked in the chat, but no one else can type in the chat. How is that even possible? Of all people, Snake Sauce was able to put through 2 moral support messages. That's funny. Yes, the bolts in my chair on Cloudflare. That's why the chair is falling apart. No, I'm wiggling my leg. I'm going to put my legs down onto my footrest, and I'll stop doing that. Yeah, look, people cannot type in the Kick chat, but they can redeem moral support, so they are. What the hell kind of a weird loophole is that? Yeah, there you go. You guys can say stuff. If you redeem moral support, you could put a message in there. Oh, is it working again? Okay, it looks like the chat's coming back. Let me reload it. Okay, looks like the servers are coming back now. What a mess. Bum, bum. Cloudflare is down. Hope you didn't need to withdraw any money or transfer funds. Because it's all frozen online. Oh, man. Uh-oh, is the YouTube side crashing now? I hope not, because now the YouTube chat's not moving. Oh, there we go. Now it moved. Boxster Baxter, you're missing the point. Boxster Baxter says, I'm confused. How does adding the date to your King's Tax banner make the channel easier to find? That doesn't make it easier to find, but let's say, for example, you're watching someone who clipped me, right? You'll know the date that they clipped me. That way you'll say, oh, okay, so Phil made that on that date. And you can say, well, if I want to find other stuff of his, he's actively making content. You understand? As opposed to, if it doesn't say that, you might think, oh, this is just an old clip that someone clips to Phil to make a meme or something. That's the difference. Because that was what the person had said in the comment. They were like, I didn't even know you were still actively making content because I haven't seen your channel in 100 years. So I thought that this was just old shit people were making fun of. If the date was in there, I would have known you made it today or yesterday. Oh, okay. Someone says add DSP Gaming stats. There you go. I'll do that. I put the date and I put DSP Gaming stats. Perfect. So now it says DSP Gaming in the crawl, and that'll indicate the channel. There you go. Daz Auto Chick says it seems to be coming back now, but it is still giving loading errors every few seconds. Yeah. It's working out for me. I'm not going to touch nothing. Tron Gets Legacy, no problem. It says, hope you're doing well. Thanks for hosting Bumblebee yesterday. I hosted him twice. I hosted him the day before as well on the day stream. The thing is, he hasn't been streaming a lot when I've been streaming, so I haven't been able to host him at all. Like, Mad TV has been getting tons of hosts for me, but I would prefer to spread the hosting around rather than just give it to one person all the time. But the people who I was hosting haven't been online recently. Now Bumblebee has been. Is the video audio desynced? It certainly should not be. Does anyone see desync in the video or audio? Because on my end, it's not happening, but that doesn't mean that it's not happening on one of the services. When will the gaming be starting? Very soon, in fact. We're just about at the hour mark of the morning show, and I usually start gaming after about an hour, so we can start very shortly, actually. I don't think I like this song. I'm going to thumb this one down. They call this high hype hard bass. I'm serious. High hype hard bass. No thanks. Okay. It's good. People are saying it's good. It's synced. Okay, cool. All right, so I'd like to say thank you for hanging out with me for the last hour. You guys have been an awesome audience. Thanks for listening to the topics and engaging. And for the people who have supported so far as well, thank you so much for that. Let's get set up now for Dragon Quest, shall we? And I hope that you will stick around. I know that many people will leave because, simply put, they just can't stand a turn-based RPG. But it's a great game. This version is excellent with its graphical and musical improvements. I'm excited for a chill stream of it today and good progress. We're going to have around 3 hours of gameplay this afternoon. And it sure would be great if you could support the stream, all right? Please, I love this style of game. It's one of my favorites. I want to keep JRPGs and turn-based RPGs in the rotation, but I need people to show up, engage, and support the streams. Please support the stream today if you can, and please stick around. Because here's the thing about this game. We can talk and hang out when I play it. We can treat it as a chill hangout session as I'm also playing it. You understand? It's not just about the game. It's not like I'm playing Street Fighter and I can't pay attention to you guys. It's actually the opposite. So if you stick around and hang out, we can have a great interactive time together this afternoon, and I hope that you will. Okay? All right. Kyle says, I think Deadlock will be a hard game to get into without a team. It's hard to do solo queuing as a new player to MOBAs. Well, let's at least give it a shot, right? Isn't it fair to say we should at least give it a try? That way we can have that experience and say yes or no. Listen, if I play it tonight and it just doesn't work out, that's okay. It's one stream. Let's give it a try, right? I think I'm okay with that. There you go. All right. Thank you guys for chilling. And I hope that you guys will stick around. I hope that you enjoyed the DSP morning show. There will not be a morning show again now until Monday. Yeah, because we're doing a podcast both tomorrow, Friday to end the week, and then, of course, on Sunday to start my new week. So the morning show returns on Monday with chill vibes all around. But, hey, tomorrow's podcast should be good. Like I said, we'll be hunting for a new Switch 2 controller so that I can actually play these retro games during the marathon. That should be fun to do together, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for watching. See you soon.